Good day, everybody. Hi, it's Elaine Nieberding from YesLaugh.com, and I have you watching the Holy Shift Show. I'm so glad you found your way here, either watching this live or replay today. Today is actually, let's see, December the 16th, 2014, and our topic for today is the abundance propeller. F words: flow, forgiving, and forgetting. We're going to be getting into maybe a little different way of looking at abundance and this whole topic of forgiveness. And I am so pleased to welcome to the panel today Heidi Hornline, who's hanging out from Italy. Say hello, Heidi. Up. Heidi, are you there? Up. Everybody's popping out and in. I guess I'm just going to have to laugh along with the way Google Gremlins show up today. As Hangout hosts, this is one of the things that comes along in Hangout territory as we use this free medium to connect with the larger world. But now I see Heidi back again. Heidi, tell us where you're hanging out from.
I am here in Italy and try to convince my computer not to shut down again. So it was the connection. I lost the connection. You know, the internets here on the countryside, they are not really so good. So I'm happy what we can do, but we cannot do everything. So
okay. So you are assisting me today in running Comment Tracker. So we'll cross our fingers.
I have to reset it up. Yeah. It will take some minute because I have to reset it up. I have lost everything, so
right.
Just a minute.
Ha, 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 ha. That's what we're going to do. Well, I have mine running, and in a few minutes I will look and see who else is commenting today. Right now, I want to welcome Kalyani Roll. Kalyani, say your last name for me.
Can you girls hear me? Because I don't see or hear anything.
Okay, so you know, Kalyani, we can hear you, but we can't see you, and I don't know what's going on with that either. But there you are.
There I am. I lost the connection right at the moment we were going to go on, so I'm back. Can you hear me and see me? Okay.
I can, and awesome. I am reveling in the abundance of the signal that's here now. Yay!
Yes.
So, Kalyani and Heidi Hornline, we are here to greet this audience and talk about abundance and the abundance propeller. And Kalyani, tell us a little bit about the work that you do. I know that your work is directly aligned with helping people discover their inner wealth. Just tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and that might weave right into our discussion for the day.
Absolutely. So in a nutshell, well, good morning, Elaine. Good morning, Heidi. Good morning, everyone. Kalyani Roldan. I'm a women's inner wealth coach. And in a very great little nutshell, what I do is I take everything that I personally have learned, discovered, implemented, and used successfully over the last 30 years, believe it or not, of how to tap in to my own inner wealth, which is equivalent for me to abundance, because abundance for me is not just money and outward expression of what we have. Abundance is your state of mind, because that's where it starts. That's an inner wealth process. I help women use these tools that I have used and techniques and practices for 30 years, mindset, to claim the truth of who you are. That's the first powerful step in any abundance work. Claim the truth of who you are. Then you ignite that inner wealth, and that is what allows the outward vision to show itself that you've created from inside, and you thrive in purpose, passion, and prosperity.
So our experience of abundance apparently has a lot to do with how we identify ourselves, how big we perceive ourselves to be, or how small, and the thoughts and belief systems that we have in play at any given point in time then are likely to determine our experience of abundance. There's one quote that I've heard before that really rings true with me, and that is, you experience as much abundance as you authorize. And how does that sit with you? And especially, how does that play with our experience of abundance during the holidays? Because it's a time when we're thinking about buying more gifts, sharing more things, and our money issues come up. Kalyani.
Yeah. I've never heard that quote, but I so resonate with that. Because, as I was saying, for me, abundance starts within. So there's this dynamic, and let's say especially now, like you were saying, this time of year, where holidays sort of become less about inner wealth and abundance as they do about outer abundance. And then there's so much pressure on everybody to show that abundance through the gift giving. And we buy into it. The stores play on our emotions about it, and we buy into it, and it all becomes about, you know, giving something. And I'm just going to put a teeny little short story in there about this power of why inner abundance is so much more important than outer. Many years ago, God, it was probably almost like 7 years ago now, my husband and I are not big on parties and social gatherings and things like that, but at the time, the business that we were in then, we were invited to this Christmas gathering. And it was a gathering of people that were in real estate. So, you know, pretty high on the wealth, outward wealth scale. And I love spending money that I have, and I went and I spent probably $100 on each gift that I was going to share with these people that were coming to this gathering. And that's another piece that comes into play when you're focused on the outward, is that if you don't really know people, you're just arbitrarily spending money and giving them something that resonates with you at the moment, but that doesn't mean that they're going to like it. So I always tell people, don't give me things. So I bought this really beautiful, gorgeous, like, I don't know, 2-foot high vase full of, you know, colorful marbles and things to put it to be a centerpiece on a table. This was for a woman who had an enormous dining table, and I thought it was gorgeous. I would have put it in my house any point, and we gave her this gift, and seriously, 6 months later, I saw it in the closet at her house. It had never been used. So don't get caught in this whole thing that abundance means you have to buy things for people. Give the abundance of showing up in this time of year especially, but all throughout life, of giving of yourself in the best joyous way that you can. And that is, you know, who you be. Who are you being in every day? Are you joyful? Are you fun to be around? Are you sweet? Are you caring? Are you compassionate with people? Those things are so much more important any time of the year, but especially right now, than it is to think about, you know, what can I give people? What can I go buy? Just be your best version.
So right now, Kalyani, I want to jump on over to our comment tracking, and I see that I am so grateful for the people who are showing up, and indeed, because we have signals working again, people are showing up and letting us know they're here, and they are sharing the gift of their perfect presence with us. We have Lon McClure saying, what I said, reveling in the abundance of the signal. Can I use that? And we have Karen Chin here. She's hanging out from Soggy, California. Oh, Karen, I understand. My son um, is in San Francisco, and they have had the horrific weather there too. We have Dave Pipe here. We have Andy Brine hanging out. I'm so glad he's here to add to our conversation about forgiving and forgetting and forgiveness. And we have Vivek here with us. We have Marcus Dieterle. Hello, everyone. Looking forward to another entertaining show. I want to ask Marcus to let us know where he's hanging out from, because we don't know that. Dave Pipe is hanging out from Sussex. Evening from Sussex. I'm hoping that I won't have to swear as I'm seeing as if Chromium can handle HOAs as Zoogle Crum can't at the moment. Yeah, that was a little earlier. Anyway, so I'm really grateful for everyone who has shown up. We're so sorry that Dave Moore. Whoop, I have to unpin. Ha ha ha. I haven't done this comment tracking while I'm hosting very much, so you guys are going to have to laugh with me as I find. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha.
There I go. I now get to unpin the comment. I'm learning, folks. I'm learning. So as I was saying, Dave Moore out in Great Britain land. We're so sorry you can't join us on this Hangouts, because we love it when you're joining us for the conversation about F words particularly. And we'll miss you. But you know, for those of you who are watching today, these two fine ladies who are with me, Kalyani, who was speaking just a minute ago, and Heidi Hornline, who's hanging out from Italy, the three of us, you can often see us together on Marilyn Shannon's Skywire Hangout, which airs many Thursdays at, it's 11 a.m. Eastern, so you have to make your adjustments for other time zones. But that's the lovely place where we have gotten to get acquainted and get to know each other and share our gifts together. So, Heidi, let me zip on back on over to you. You live in you live in a different place. You live in a rural area. And so, and you're not in the commercial United States either. So I want to ask you about whether you notice all these issues about money and sense of self-worth tied up to some status or way we view our abundant self different this time of year. Wondering about that.
You know, I come from Germany, and there it was very important to have a Mercedes to be somebody. So it was very much in the culture that you show your, your status, and you try to gain a status by outside abundance or seeming abundance, by have status symbols. I think it's still more or less like that, and everywhere. In Italy, it's more, not so much the cars, but women, how they dress themselves and how chic they are, and yeah, and in this time of the year, probably, because I don't go there where they go shopping, they are crazy to buy the nicest thing and the glitter things, they can get. I went in a show, in a shop some days ago, and I made a little film. I can post it afterwards. It was crazy how they put all the winter scenes, artificial snow, and cradles, and everything for Christmas, which we have never seen here. I mean, you have Disneyland, you know these things, but here it was not so in the past. So I think it's going a lot on, but I try in this part of the year not to go into the cities because I don't like it. So
I want to acknowledge some of the other people that are here. Alan Chong has shown up in the comment stream saying hi to Andy Brine, Karen Chin, Dave Moore, and Adelaide Hornline. And our lovely Vivekananda Bandurao has asked us a question, and this is really, really perfect for us to be considering. Are you three ladies going to talk about abundance that you feel when you meditate? Elaine Nieberding, Adelaide Hornline, and Kalyani. So,
absolutely.
This gets back to, let me unpin here. This now gets back to us doing practices where we're connecting with our inner self. And I think to be able to quiet and meditate, we have to have the belief that we can actually do that, and we can make the choice to get quiet. I know there are days when I have a lot of difficulty quieting and sitting still. And then I get into a state of judgment about that. And you could say, it's not until I'm willing to make a shift, forgive myself that in previous moments I couldn't do that, but maybe I can feel into the flow of that. So Kalyani, let me pass that on over to you about forgiving ourselves in lots of ways, but even forgiving ourselves when we don't take the time to quiet and self-appreciate.
Yes. Well, first of all, before I get into that, I just love this show, Elaine, because I love all the fun play. I love all the word play. And we are talking about some F words today still. So I want to share a few really cool F words with people. Okay? And it will relate to the meditating, because I had that absolutely on my list of something to talk about today. So first of all, I want everybody to just try to forget about everything that you think you know about yourself and the world and everything around you. The way to capture true inner wealth abundance is cultivating, first and foremost, faith. Faith is something we know we don't see. It's believing even when we can't see things looking like we want them to look. But faith is, which we've talked about in other shows, a very big driving force for me, has been in my life. And when it comes to any kind of practices, and especially meditation, I'm going to say, okay, first and foremost, you want to have your finite mind working for you and not against you, okay? We think finite, our capabilities are infinite. We know that. And I'm going to take a chance and say that every single person who has ever contemplated meditating at the beginning thought that they could not sit quietly, they could not stop their mind from thinking, all of those things that we tell ourselves so that we don't meditate, okay? I had the same experience, but I have been meditating now for 20 years, and I'm going to tell you that even this morning when I meditated, I had thoughts going through my head. It happens. Sometimes I find myself being the most creative when I'm supposed to be meditating, okay? So forgive yourself for thinking that you can't meditate, and just do it. Just cultivate the practice. Just sit and do it. In fact, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do after I open my eyes and use the restroom and brush the teeth is I lay back down and meditate. I don't sit in some fancy position. I don't hold my fingers in a certain way. I lay down and I snuggle in my covers and I put on some powerful brainwave music that gets me into the meditation. And one thing that I've always told my precious kids that are going on 11 and 14 now, that is not so much what you do when you're meditating, it's that you made a commitment to come to the plate of meditation. Intention is more powerful than action. And if you intend to meditate and you take the time to just sit, lay down, I don't care how you do it, what music you listen to, just do it, because the intention is the powerful part. And whatever happens during the process happens, but you have set a commitment that says to yourself and the universe, I and my expansion is that important that I'm going to practice this every day. No matter what it looks like, even after 20 years, you probably will have thoughts come up. It's okay. You're still stating that it's important, and you are quieting to a certain extent. And you're giving yourself some space. You're giving that space that's necessary, even if you're just listening to some powerful music. I have found in my practice that meditation has been the #1 fuel for me on a daily basis. That might sound cheesy because many people say it, but it's my experience and it's the truth for me.
So, Kalyani, it's beautiful that you've talked about meditation being the fuel for feeling your own inner richness. The observer part of you noticing whether there are thoughts going on or not, and it's okay either way. But absolutely what you said about bringing the intention to it, that is also powerful, powerful fuel, no matter what the experience ends up being. I have a question. Did you say that meditation brings you to a place? Was place a word that you used? Or did you say a plane?
No, I might have said place. For me, it takes me to a place of creativity, empowerment, greater faith, deeper commitment. So those feel like places, whether they're inner or outer spaces. They feel like I just, maybe it's just in the mind, okay? Because isn't that the most powerful place we start with anything, is what we're thinking. And for me, just knowing that I've done my meditation, and forgive myself and yourself, anyone listening, because we get so caught up that there's a right way and a wrong way to do anything and everything in life, and there is no wrong way or right way. There is your way, and that is the right way for you. So forgive yourself for whatever comes up during that meditation, and allow it to take you to the place that it does.
It's great. I think that we're talking about meditation, and Sally Sue Ember is with us, and she says there are dozens of types of meditation. Many of them do not require us to be free of thoughts, only to have a different relationship to the passage in our minds. Meditation requires teachers, practice, and instruction when one has questions. There are 84,000 kinds of meditation. Not every kind works for everyone, and many have quite different purposes as well as forms. Sally Sue Ember, that is a great tip, especially in addressing everyone who feels like they can't, because maybe they just haven't, found the right form yet. And once again, folks, I am trying to get my... I have lost my Hangout screen. It's coming back. All right, I found my slider. For all of you coming to learn how to use Comment Tracker while you're hanging out, it's fun.
Here she is.
I'm
Elaine,
still laughing.
I would like to jump in here because
Please do.
Yeah, we are taught that meditation is sitting still and, observe thoughts and so on. This is a form of meditation, and it's often very adapted for men. But women often...
Did you say men? M-E-N?
Men. M-E-M-E-N. Male people, They have often this bias towards sitting still and transcend. While we women often have more the embodiment factor. So meditation can be also dancing and can be in movement. And I think women do much easier meditation in movement. Meditation is not even, as you said already, Kalyani, to press the thoughts away. It's not about that. Meditation is about being aware, observe what is happening. This is the main thing, you know, the perspective on what is going on inside of you. But what you do, you can do artwork. I would sing, for instance, and be the observer of what is happening. This can also be the same practice. We don't have to sit still and try to, it hurts everything, and try to be good in it, and then beat ourselves up when we don't make it. You know, there are so many other ways which have the same outcome at the end, because it's about awareness. It's about observing and stepping behind, let's say, you know, and seeing from behind what is happening.
Heidi, I love that you're talking about meditation practices, bringing to the forefront this idea of being at the place of the observer, and observing then our, you could say, our personal self, our smaller self, and how it is experiencing relationship to any other thing. Heidi, it's been so interesting getting to know that you are, you've really been active in learning and practicing the things that you've gleaned from integral wisdom and the works of Ken Wilber, which in my own exploration, I went to one workshop. It was called the Integral Incubator, where I came to learn the basics about integral theory, and my understanding of it is they're like 4 quadrants, and we experience ourselves on the interior, on the exterior, and both as an individual self and as a collective self. And the quadrants that Ken Wilber puts on up are, you know, show us there's an experience of I, there's an experience of me having a relationship with something on the outside, personally. That's the it. There's my sense of we as an identity, doing something in community, and then my experience with the larger community, then that's external, and it's an it's. And so I guess I'm bringing all this up because the way we experience relationship, both with ourselves, things on the inside and the outside, it can either be in a state of flow, or it can be in a state of, again, where there's this contraction, where there's a judgment going on. And when we notice that, when our wise self notices that, then we can make a different kind of shift and experience something that feels maybe better or healthier. Anyway, can you take off from anything that I've just said?
I want to go to what Kalyani said. She said she puts on meditation music, which is helping the brain waves. This would be an outside approach. You know, you change your brain waves to create an inside state of consciousness. You can also, when you are very experienced, create this inside state of consciousness. And then when you have these instruments on, people would say that you have created these brain waves. They are co-arising. It's not that they are only brain waves, you know, without this feeling, or only feeling without these brain waves. They're all together. And without this technology, you wouldn't be able to create this. So technology is part of our, let's say, system of what we have created, you know, all together in our society. We now are relying on society. And this would be the outside collective part of that. You showed the 4 quadrants, you know. And we in our community think that meditation is great. So this is our culture in our community, which is all influencing on what we are doing, you know, and how we perceive the world. There are all 4 perspectives there at the same time. And if we think we only meditate and we always have done it and only meditate and everything will be all right, it's just not, you know. It has automatically an influence on all the other things. Or if we only have technology and everything will be all right and we don't consider the interiors and what technology creates in ourselves and in our communities, in our society, then, you know, we are off. So the integral approach, it's, by the way, not only the 4 quadrants, but it's a very important part, says to check out if you have seen all perspectives on reality so you can fail less, you know. That's the main thing.
So I'm looking at the comments here, and both Marcus Dieterle and Sally Sue Ember have talked about the state of flow. Let me see. Sally Sue Ember is saying to Marcus Dieterle, flow can be the experience one has while meditating or because of meditation, but in and of itself, it's not usually meditation, unless one's instructed in that particular form of meditation. Usually being in flow occurs by accident. When one learns to invoke that state intentionally as part of meditation, then it's meditating to be in flow. I hope that's not too confusing. I love that, Sally. Let's see, let me unpin this again. And by the way, Marcus is hanging out from Germany somewhere. I think he said Brackenham or something like that. And I also want to acknowledge, I've seen a couple other people show up in the comment stream. Cito and Nicole Levac. We're also really glad that you're here today, and Alan Chong waving to you a couple times. But this state of flow, to me, that is something that is expressive of this infinity sign, this propeller. And, you know, Heidi, you're such a musical person. You know, when you're singing or if you're conducting others to sing, and I've sung in a lot of choruses in my time, there is something beautiful about the movement of hands and a rhythm and a flow in music and in breath.
Yeah.
And even in laughter. And I'm going to bring that in because you talked about forms of, you know, meditation that are more body oriented, you know, like dancing, and you know, lots of folks who are getting to know me know that one of the practices that I do for health and wellness is laughter yoga. And there is one form of laughter yoga called laughter meditation, where you lay down on the floor by yourself or with others, you focus on your breathing, you set the intention to let your laughter fountain start bubbling on up, and you feel that flow of joy. You know, this is a great time of year to focus on opening up to joy, but once again, to be able to move into that place of abundance or flow, sometimes you have to make the intention to release the things, whether you think you know what they are, that are getting in the way. And that is another way of looking at what forgiving is. Freeing ourselves. Go ahead, Heidi.
I would like to add that in our second episode of the Wisdom Factory, we had an expert of flow, Ben Seganti, and he explained the 3 different kinds of flow. So if you are interested to know about that, go back to the Wisdom Factory and see that, because he makes very clear that what we normally understand as flow, what you were talking about, it would be the second type of flow. And the other flow is, you know, when you are out with friends and laughing and so on. This would be the more superficial type of flow. And then the third type of flow is this where you really are connected with, let's say, with the universe, you know, with the greater field of life. And they're distinct, and there are practices to go into it. It is not just that it happens by grace. You can do something for that to experience these states.
So I want to just take a moment and recap for those people who have joined us a little bit late. We're talking about the abundance propeller and getting into a state of flow by perhaps consciously choosing to practice forgiveness, releasing our self-judgments, releasing our criticisms of others, and daring to let those things go, or the beliefs that we hold on to so strongly that it limits our experience of joy and our sense of connection to things in the world. That's what we're talking about today. And we've spent a good bit of time talking about how actually finding a practice to connect within, practicing meditation, is something that can indeed open up our experience of our inner wealth so that then we can share our own gifts much more easily to everyone else that we see as other on the outside. Kalyani, let me just jump back onto you because we've been talking about a lot of things. And do you have another thought or something to pipe in at this moment?
I've got so much bubbling up right now that I want to share.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out how to bring it all together. But the first thing that I want to share is that just a quick little definition of what I believe, well, let's say what abundance means for me. True abundance means, for me, this is what I love teaching about this whole process, as I already shared with you, that abundance equals inner wealth to me. And that is being in a state of inner peace, because that's really what it comes down to, is that the less turbulence you have going on in your thoughts, in your emotions, and in your life, you have inner peace. So abundance for me is being able to choose, consciously choose to feel freedom, fulfillment, and financial wealth, because they all go together. I mean, in this day and age, we have to have financial wealth in order to live. But if you start from that place and bringing it into this whole meditation is just one way of creating this flow. In fact, I did a short series called Momentum Flow for that very reason, because oftentimes people think that like one of the only ways to have this powerful abundance flow in your life is meditation, and it's really not. Meditation is one practice, and it came about, I think, for the purpose of, like we've already been talking about, is to, let's say, shift your focus and also become aware, because the purpose is to, like Heidi was saying, be in an observatory state. So when you are, taking some time to be in a meditation of sorts, and you develop the practice of what it's about, it's observing what those thoughts are. Because oftentimes we go through life, until we start growing and expanding our own consciousness and awareness, we are operating in life with all kinds of thoughts happening, and we're not even remotely aware of what we're thinking. They're just going on having this conversation with themselves all day long, and meditation is one way that allows you to become more aware of what are the thoughts that are going through your head, and how can you then shift them in ways that are more in alignment with your good rather than working against you all the time. But this Momentum Flow series that I did was all about different ways that you can bring yourself into that state of flow. And in fact, I just watched a video with our kids yesterday for school, for our life schooling that we do, and it was all about the brain and how powerful it really is for us, and physical attributes that we're seeing on real live brains, how different parts of your brain grow differently depending on what you do in your practices in life. And one of the interesting things that they shared as they were studying Einstein's brain is that he said that every time he got stuck on some sort of equation or whatever he was working on, he went and picked up his violin and he played. And that's a form of meditation. What he did is he said, let me step back away from all of the thinking and the processing and the needing to know, and let me just exercise a different part of my brain, my body, my emotions, and let me just be in the flow of the music. And every time the answer came to him later on. So this whole process of flow it can come in so many ways. Sometimes for me, I turn on classic rock and roll, and it takes me to a place that I have remembrance of as a teenager. I sing, at the top of my lungs, and I have a great time, and that whole time you could consider that meditation because I'm not thinking about all the things I was just thinking about. I've released. I'm allowing myself to feel something. I'm allowing myself to just get into that quote-unquote flow. Even if it means take a walk out in nature and observe what's happening in nature, you can create that flow. And I just want to share one last thing. Sometimes, even when we have these experiences in our life that don't feel or look pleasant, and we turn them, we feel contracted, like, I'm not feeling abundant, or I don't like this relationship I'm in, or I don't like how I'm feeling about this interaction I had with someone. Contraction can be a great key to help you recenter into a greater flow. So embrace when those things happen too. Every moment of life is here for us to grasp the juiciness, the fun, the frisky and the funky. All of that is there for us to just soak it in and really take every second of it and see what can I do with it? How can I intentionally, deliberately guide my life and not be so much letting it just fall on me?
Well, boy, that was a rich, lengthy flow of words on flow and all the ways we can experience that. That's wonderful. I just want to do a time check. We're at 2:43. I often make the choice to let this run over a little bit. And yes, Heidi, go ahead, Ellen.
I would like to join the Kalyani forgetting. There is, I don't know if you know, a researcher is called Alfred Tomatis. He has done for 7 years research in Canadian schools where the 2 classes had every day, one class the whole normal study plan, and the other class every day 1 hour of music instrument playing. So at the end of the year, regularly, the class who had the musical instrument and had much less subject teaching was much, much better in the exams than the other one. So this is a reminder that we need not to stick on do it, and fill our brains, but forget it so you get it.
Absolutely.
So, the time flies so quickly. That's another word, F word, flies. We've been talking about the abundance propeller, how paying attention, noticing what our thoughts and feelings are, choosing when we want to just hang out right where they are and that be okay, or choose to make a shift so we feel more expansive or we are connecting to things in a different way. That's what we've been talking about today, this abundance propeller. When you think of having a propeller, you can think of how doing something will lift you off to a new place, or when you shift that flow, it will land you in another place. And they're all places within the kingdom of heaven, I'll call it that, where we can, if we're curious, experience the abundance right there. So that's kind of my wind-up for the day. But let Kalyani give a few final words, and then Heidi. And in your final words, if you also want to just refer to where people can find out about you or a program you have coming up, please do that. And folks, we will be opening up the Flocker Room. I've put the link there in the comment stream, but do not come in before the end of the broadcast in case you want to join us. Also, oh, hi, William Rock. Glad to see you're here. Hey, your flockness. No, your rockness. Okay, Kalyani. It's you, babe. Up. Heidi, it's you, babe.
Okay, so I think we have a birthright to live in abundance, and if we don't do so, it's because we have so much limitations learned in our past, and we have the possibility to get rid of them and come into this abundance. Whatever method you use, but it is possible. First, you have to convince yourself that it is possible, and then it will be possible.
Great. Kalyani, can you unmute? And I should know how to unmute her, but I'm not remembering how to do that at the moment. So, Kalyani, can you unmute?
She doesn't hear you.
I am unmuted, but
Yay!
I lost some connection again there for a few minutes. Okay, so I wasn't hearing anything you guys were talking about because it was quiet. All went quiet over here.
Inviting you, my dear Kalyani, to just share any final thoughts as well as how people can get in touch with you, things coming up in the new year, etc.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. So final thoughts. I just want to remind everyone again that outward abundance is only one piece of the abundance propeller. One piece. And in order for that outward abundance to show itself, you really got to be propelled from your inner abundance. That's where it all starts, and that is your thoughts, feelings, and your beliefs and faith about yourself. So I love, I'm totally passionate about having grown in this aspect myself, teaching other mom entrepreneurs how to tap into that really awesome inner wealth and ignite it to a level that every day, no matter what is happening in your life, that you develop to a place of that expansive inner space that says, I'm abundant. I am abundant. Everything in my life is abundant. I can deliberately and intentionally direct my life in an abundant path. Doesn't mean that you won't experience ebbs and flows of life, but you'll see and feel the abundance in every ebb and flow that is occurring. So I have coming up, launching this week that starts in February, a Women's Extraordinary Inner Wealth Master Heart group. It's 9 months that will be focusing all on this, mentorship and master hearting with other powerful women that are on this journey of developing this inner wealth to such a space as I have over the years and I continue to do, to bring your life to a true abundance propelled space, as I said earlier, of freedom, fulfillment, and financial wealth. And you can find me on kalyaniroldan.com.
kalyaniroldan.com. For those who are listening, you will find that also listed in the details on the Google Plus event page. So thank you so much for that opportunity. That just might resonate with some folks.
Yeah,
Heidi.
my website is thepowerofrelationship.com because today I couldn't put up neither the lower third nor the comment tracker, so you can find me there. And I will have upcoming in January a relationship course, a beta course, beta version. So contact me. Only 9 people, hangout, show, only 9 people are admitted. Come and jump up. Find your abundance in your relationship.
So since we missed Dave Moore today, I do want to invite people to find the his blog from today, which is called Now is the Time. It's about living in the now and shifting your perspective. Everything in that blog, and I have put the link in the comment stream, is absolutely relevant to what we've been talking about today. I hope folks will look at that. I also hope folks will go and click on the link that I put in for Andy Brine's work. Apparently in his a lot of his Hangout interviews, he has actually been asking this question about what is forgiveness and what does it open us up to. And so for those of you like me that might want to explore some of that, that looks like another rich treasure from one of our fellow Hangout hosts. The last thing that I want to share, because I showed this in my picture on the event earlier today, at a laughter yoga conference I was at in October, I bought this from a vendor. It's my money hat. And when there are days when I am somehow feeling impoverished in mind or in green or something, I decide to shift, to make a shift by getting playful. I'll put this hat on and then it reminds me, like, I'm abundance, and if I need funds for things, the resonance that I choose to be in will really help me bring into my awareness those things that I need, those relationships I need to develop, so that my best gifts, I can find the perfect ways to put them out into the world and have my own experience of, comfort with money all along the way. So, find yourself a money hat. Play with it. Play with it. Let's do that. The last thing I want to do is tell everybody, let this be a merry season. You see Santa's around. Laugh from your belly. Get started exploring that feeling of doing something physical with motion to shift your emotion. That's what the laughter yoga stuff is about. And so when you go, ho, 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 you help shift your body chemistry and open up to that abundance of joy which is yours. And so I would like my panelists to join me winding up the show in saying, holy shiftness! Holy
shiftness! Ho, ho, ho!
Holy shiftness!
Holy shiftness!
For merry shiftness, holy shiftness, do what it takes to get curious, to find the holiness inside yourself and in everything around you, and that will bring you one abundant life. Thank you, everybody, and now come on and join us in the Flocker Room. We would love to get to know some of you better. Thank you, everybody in the comment stream. We've had an active comment stream. Sorry we haven't even addressed half the comments that were there. Take care, everybody.